Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am Rusty with Rusty Brown Photography, and today we're going to be talking about camera gear, specifically my camera gear. What's in my camera bag? What do I use for photography? What do I use for video, right? When does this Think Tank Retrospective 7, this old workhorse of a bag that's been all over the world, when does this come out? When would I bring out this big heavy bag, this backpack of a bag? And does the color scheme give anything away as to what type of shooter I am? Hint, hint. What we're going to talk about today is camera equipment, specifically the cameras and the lenses and such like that that I use for photography and video. To do that, we're going to have to go up to the studio. All right, hang on. I've done this before, top and bottom. Then we check it out. How's it fit? How's it feel? Good? I think so. I think we're ready to talk camera equipment. What's in my bag? Let's go upstairs to the studio and find out. So as you can see from the intro, I am a Sony alpha shooter. I have been for a long time. I want to say since 2007 with the very first Sony CyberShot, which was a small APS-C that was my entry into the digital photography world, right? And then in 2012, I bought the SLT, the Sony A99 full frame. Again, I say 2012. It's a DSLR, but it has some mirrorless features, if you would. You know, for example, electronic viewfinder and some other pretty cool features. This was my entry into full frame when I left the APS-C world. And then in 2017, I bought the A99 Mark II. This came out in late 2016, and I'm going to tell you some of the story about the A99 Mark II because I understand there's a large population in the photography world that's all about the mirrorless. I got no shade against them, but there is still a place for full frame. The eye autofocus is not new. This is something that's been around a while. Now you can actually even pick whether you want the left or the right eye if you look here on the right side. But on the left, subject tracking is amazing. You can pick somebody in action or something in action, like this swimmer, if you look on the top left of the screen, but you go down to this section of the screen here, and it will follow locked on that movement all the way through to splash. 42.4 megapixel full frame camera. 5-axis image stabilization is really important. This was the first A mount to do 4K movies. I'm no longer using it for that, and I'll explain why in just a sec. Again, remember 2011, 2012, the original A99, and this guy had a flip screen back then. Not just a flip screen on top so you could see what you're doing, but what's the word? Articulating, so that if you turn it this way on the side, you get to see what you're doing on the back. The very same system that's in use on most of their cameras today. Back to the A992, you can see that that's a feature that is still in use today. Next up, I want to talk about lenses for a second. If you noticed on the A99 II, what I have here is the Sony Zeiss 24-70. This lens is old and is worn and beat up as it is. This is the lens that I bought with the original A99. It was my first lens, and for a long time, the only lens that I used. The next lens that I bought, and my plan was, and what I did was, I would get one lens a year, 24-70. I bought that so that I could really get used to A mount, took it everywhere, would only use that. A year later, I had a decision. I wanted to get a prime, but I was torn between the Zeiss 85mm and the Zeiss 135. Ultimately, I chose this, which is, it's a good size, beefy, hefty lens if you look at it, right? This is with the hood on, but still a very good lens, pretty big. So the Zeiss 135 1.8. Let's take a look at that. The following year, after the 135, I did go back to get the other prime that I told you about that I was interested in. This is the Sony Zeiss 85mm 1.4. Sweetheart of a lens. I actually did a show that I haven't posted yet where I talk about portrait lenses, and which one is the go-to, and depending upon the situation, it's going to be this one, because you may not have, or I may not have, enough physical space to work the 135 the way I want. Sweetheart of a lens here, the 85. The last lens that I have, this big boy here, is the 70-200 SSM f2.8. The fact that it's an f2.8, and it has the same, ability to open it wide up, like the 24-70, is really, really good. And that pretty much covers my my photography equipment. So for my action video needs, I'm a fan of the GoPro Hero system. I use it for the run and gun type of video, the action video. You need to mount something on a car, a bike, whatever. The 8 is my primary go-to, and I'll show you why. It's an amazing camera in the sense that it does not need a gimbal at all. The stabilization is insane. This HyperSmooth 2.0 it's just really good tech, and again, don't need a gimbal at all. The other factor that I like with the GoPro Hero 8 is it's got really, really amazing audio. There's 3 microphones in here, so you have both forward and rear facing microphones. If you're into this ecosystem and you don't have an 8, this is the dedicated gimbal for GoPros. So this is it. When you charge it up, it will also power the GoPro. All the controls to record for a GoPro are in the handle. It fires up just like that. There's no camera in this one, obviously, right? You get the power indicators, hours of battery life on this, and it's got enough power to charge the actual GoPro itself. But if you don't want to get a Hero 8 and you're rocking, a 6 or a 7, this will give you such smooth footage that it will more than pay for itself over time. The last video product I want to talk about is one that I can't show you because I'm actually filming on it. I needed a camera that was really, really good on video, and I found one in the Sony a6400. Yes, I now have an APS-C camera, and this is it, and this is dedicated to my video. This camera, what it's done with the speed of its auto eye focus is lightning fast, and look at the number of phase detection autofocus points. Smart subject tracking, you can actually touch it on the touch screen and it will follow that subject around the entire time. This is sick. It just follows, and look at this. Just touch this guy while he's flying, and it just stays with him. Now I can do all of my in-studio video. Again, it's not the run and gun. That's why I showed you the GoPros. But if you're in a studio environment like I am, where you're tripod mounted, or if you're outdoors and you're tripod mounted, or if you put it on a gimbal, and you're not doing run and gun with rolling shutter and things like that, it is an amazing camera with the focus points that just follow you wherever you go. It does not have a 29-minute limit on it. It does not overheat. Even when it shoots 4K, it's basically taking 6K worth of video and punching that down into 4K, so you get such rich data, such rich media with your edits. I'm excited to be introducing this camera into my what's in my bag, if you will. One surprise that I do have for you guys, I did a lot of study about which lens to buy if you're going to buy one, and the one that I chose was not a Sony. No kidding, this puppy just arrived today. It is the Sigma 56 f1.4. Got such amazing reviews. Let me show you this. On this APS-C body, this is the equivalent of a full frame 85. So before I close out the video, I'm going to switch lenses so you get to see what that looks like. But I'm excited. I didn't want to open it until we got here. This is, I haven't really done an unboxing. Set that there. This is my first look. Oh man, that is sweet, rich goodness right there. Can you guys see that? Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. This may be my in-studio. Now, I will tell you this lens does not have OSS or optical stabilization on it. So for me, having it on a tripod mount is the way that I'm going to use it. I wanted to say real quickly about when I say what's in my camera bag. This Retrospective 7 from Think Tank is 7 or 8 years old. Tough old bag, nondescript. I take this when I'm going on vacation, when I'm only going to take one camera body and 2 lenses. In that situation, those 2 lenses are both the zooms, 24-70 and the 70-200. I can throw a couple of GoPros in here and even get an iPad, into the back pocket. Travels very well, nondescript. I use this one when I know I'm going on a big shoot, maybe flying to another city. I have to take all of my gear. I'm going to be in studio. It's not a vacation situation where I'm going to be out in public. It's very durable. I've had this one for 8 years. Super padded, travels well. That pretty much wraps this up. What I'm going to do before I close is I'm going to switch lenses now. We're going to pop on this brand new Sigma 56, and then we'll close out the video. Wow, would you look at this? This is the Sigma 56mm 1.4. The camera now is in the doorway of the studio. Look at that. You see how it picks up the focus. If I put it in front of my face, the focus is there. I move it. It's doing the facial tracking on me. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I know this one was a little longer than I anticipated, but I had a lot of gear to get through, and I wanted to point out that take your time with your lenses and your choices. Get something that's going to last you. I've got lenses in here, and it's only 4 of them that I started buying 7, 8 years ago, and they still hold their value. If you look at the episode that I put out last time, it should be, I'll put a card right here. When you're talking about what type of photographer you are, that's going to drive the type of gear that you get. With that, take your time, get lenses that work for you, get cameras that work for you. Like when I finally reached a point after 8 years of shooting my video with the A99s, I finally got something that's more suitable to what I'm going to do with the A64. Let me know how your equipment journey is going. What did you start with? What do you have now? Are you separating your video camera from your photography cameras? And if so, why? Again, thanks for joining. Please, if you haven't already, hit the like button. I'd love you to subscribe. It would mean a lot to the channel. I do appreciate your support. I'm looking forward to putting out more content just like this, and hope to have you with me as we do that. Rusty with Rusty Brown Photography, and I'll see you guys next time. Whew, look at that, man. 56mm goodness. I love it.